Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. Here's a look at our market-leading ETFs via our proprietary scans for the coming session. This is going to be for Monday, April 14th, 2014. Keep in mind this is going to be a holiday shortened week, and it's also expiration week, so there's going to be a lot of things in motion. We had another down day today. As you can see here from the open-close deviations, we're below the opens in all the majors, which is always a negative. We don't have any downside continuation signals, which is probably really the only bright point of the day. We do have a volume bump in the Qs and also the diamonds. And when you're looking down for key inflection points here, especially at bottoms, watch the volume in the diamonds, because the diamonds are just kind of usually left to their own. There's not a lot of shorter term trading in the diamonds as much as the Qs and the spiders, so it tends to be players from the longer time frames more involved with the diamonds. And when you see that volume spike in the diamonds, especially at a low, oftentimes that's the indication that you've reached some kind of a capitulation. So the diamonds are the pure play to watch on that. As far as the individual domestic sectors, not a lot of signals here, but we do have a couple upside signals. I think the real takeaway here is that there are no downside signals off of today's action. We've got an upside signal in the PPH, the XLE, and the XLF. The XLF is on volume, and that does have a volume bump. There's also a lot of volume in the IBB. They tried to bounce the biotechs intraday, and it just didn't take. You can see here that we did have a big nasty VWAP deviation in the IBB, and they're really just still pushing these things out the door. So still a lot of weakness in the biotechs, and the market's probably not going to find its footing until the biotechs bounce, because that's really the one sector that really kind of led the charge to the downside. Keep an eye on the volume deviations for next week. The XLP and the XLK both had a big bump, and so did the XRT. Moving on to the commodities, this is definitely not where the action is. Mostly volume deviations to the downside. The only thing that's really bumping up to the upside is the overall DBC, which is just kind of the broad basket, if you will. A lot of weakness today in the GDX. The mining shares are not providing any safe haven at all. We do have a downside contra candle in the AGG, which might fit with those upside candles that we saw in some of the domestic sectors. They may be finally running out of steam here, and maybe done at least on a short-term basis with their bidding for the bonds. As far as the foreign names go, a little bit to the upside here. We've got upside indication in the FXI, and we've also got upside indication in the EWT. None of these are on any notable volume. Keep an eye on the EWZ, which tracks Brazil. They've been trying to buy this the last couple of sessions, but it's just been tough with the overall flavor of the tape. So that could be a decent player if and when we do turn next week. As far as the specials go, not a lot showing up here. We do have some contra candles in some of the leveraged shorts, so that can be an indication of some of the selling running its course, maybe on a very short term at least. And we've got an upside contra candle in the DIG. All right, guys, and here's a look at our watch list with the counts on it. I think at this point, what you want to focus on. Keep an eye on the startup column here. Once we get to 8 and 9 days down, the market can probably find a little bit of a better footing, at least on a short term. As you can see here, everything's still lined up on the sell side. We've got a lot of 12s here populating the aggressive seeker, and a lot of these have already played out. XLU's got a 13 and a 13, so a lot of these things have already made their presence known and influenced price to the downside. So now what we want to do is start keeping our eyes open for some buy indications to see if and when we might be coming to some kind of a short-term bottom. But for now, we're still heading lower, and we've got room before we get to any counts. Things that are at 5s here, even the 4s possibly. Well, next week is only a 4-day week, so we got to be at 5 to get to 9 bars this next week. But the 4s could potentially be at could be 8 days down. On Thursday, anything with a 5, a setup, startup buy 5 could have the 9, setup for next week. So keep an eye on that. Once that gets locked into place, we'll probably wind up having a first row
Good one.
bounce that can at least last
All right, there's the bell. Everybody have a good
last
weekend.
more than a couple of hours. All right, folks. Well, everybody have a great weekend and a good holiday. And as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for TradeSight.